And welcome back to another episode of Loss of Down, the newest member of the Bruiser Nation Podcast Network, a division of Snapmere Productions. That's right, Wally was kind of alluding to it a little bit earlier. That is our big announcement. FYI, if you ever want to go check out some shows on there, To the Turnbuckle, Red Flag, Bruise Cruise, Macabro, I don't even know. That one's a new one, but Decision Show, which is actually going to be having a new name coming soon. But that was the big news behind football is fucking back, boys. Oh my God. You know what? I actually didn't have that good of a day at work. I was actually kind of miserable all day, but the thought of seeing the Honolulu Blue, the Motor City Kitties, shout out Butson for giving us that, and the Kansas City Chiefs defending Super Bowl champs that are officially without Travis Kelce. Chris Jones already not being in here, but boys, it has been a long-awaited period of time that we have waited for this moment. 6 months, 5 days, 12 hours. Who's counting? I am. How the hell are we doing, gentlemen?
Oh, you better now, man. I was having a bad day until you hit that intro.
Who's ready to run through a brick wall? I feel like I just watched a Dan Campbell coaching montage.
I'm ready to eat some kneecaps. That's all I know. I mean,
I am hungry.
I wore Honolulu blue. I have blue shorts, blue underwear, blue socks. It's anti-Chiefs Day. America is behind you, Detroit. Like you said, Motor City Kitties were all the way in. And then you did mention it, not to get lost in the shuffle of football's back. It's so awesome. We are now a part of that Bruiser Nation podcast network. Jason McCarthy heads it up. We went to school with him, Jason. His birthday yesterday, too. So happy birthday.
Oh, happy 21st, big man.
Exactly. So we can't be better right now. This is as high as the energy can be going to the start of an episode. Fired up.
Nothing can bring me down right now. My mother could just be in a horrific car accident right now and die, and I don't care because the Lions at -3.5 now. I mean, Mom,
knocking on all the wood.
I got it. We're not. She doesn't really drive, so it'd be Jeremy that doing it. So it'd be a win-win, you know. But boys, we're finally here.
We're so back. And, you know, the only way I felt like I had this, a weird thought the other night, throwing a couple brews back, was during college football, naturally. And I started all right, well, you know what? We like the hypothetical game sometime here on the podcast. And I'm like, how about a sports one? How about an actual football hypothetical to kick the year off? And I started kind of just thinking it. It popped into my head. I'm offering you guys a deal. You pick the Super Bowl winner, and you get paid. But this is how it works. You can pick as many teams of the 32 as you'd like, but each pick reduces your winnings by half. It starts at $1 million. You pick one team. Let's say you pick the Chiefs. They win it all. Win $1 million. Pick two teams. One of the two win it all. You win $500,000. 3, $250,000, so on and so forth. If you don't get it, you don't get any money. How would you guys approach this? How many teams would you pick, and what teams would they be going into this year?
First of all, Wally, great job with this question. This threw me off. I was like, wait, hold up. I don't know what he thinks we have as a following, but we're offering $1 million for this, but then I got the hypothetical aspect of it. But the way that I'm going about this is I would pick 4 teams. 2 for each conference. That really gives you kind of gives you a little bit of edge. The NFC is going to be way easier to pick than the AFC is going to be. So if I'm picking teams, and I hope this isn't foreshadowing too much.
Ooh.
So give me Kansas City and give me the New York Jets on the AFC, and then give me Philly and San Fran on the NFC. I think those are clearly on the NFC. Those are the top 2 teams. I think that's a no-brainer. The AFC is where it's going to get really tricky, but it gives me 2 dogs on each side of the fight here, conference-wise. And then, because I think once you go to that 5 teams, that's only about $62,000, which is enough to get a carton of eggs, fill up your gas tank, whatever it may be nowadays, and maybe a week of rent. That's just how expensive life is. So give me that 4 teams with the opportunity to win $125K.
David, I saw your reasoning here, so I want you to go second, so I can kind of be the bridge.
I get what you're doing, but you're still going to be wrong because I can see what your notes are. For the average human, your median income is like $50,000 in the United States. There is no reason you don't pick 6 teams because the odds are so high in the AFC. You're gambling. The NFC, it feels like a pretty much of a lock if you pick 3 teams. But you get, if you win, you get 50% of the average person's annual salary. That's a lot of money, right? So I would pick 6 teams, take the 31K. I'd pick KC, Buffalo, Cincinnati, Philly, San Francisco. Dallas seems like a stretch. That would be the one where I could probably pick like 4 or 5 different teams to be the 6th spot. But like the first 5 are locks for me, like locks to the bet. And that 6th one is where you gamble a little bit. But either way, 6 choices, you win 30K. It seems like a no-brainer.
And that's where I bridge you to. Because, David, I agree. I actually think that I had the exact same 5 teams, if I'm not mistaken. I did subtract Dallas from it. So my thought is, I'm going to get a little chancy, try to steal that extra $31,000. Now, if I was in a better financial position in my life, I think I'm going with Steven. Big bettors take big bets. You gotta take the gamble to win some money. It's what we do here. I think we'll kind of keep track, because this won't be hard to forget. These are 4 of the basically front runners, and if none of them win, we'll remember, and we'll figure out at the end of the year how we would have done. But something to keep in mind. I love this. It was a question that popped in my head. I'm like, let's freaking try it out.
I want you to know, if this was a real bet, one of our teams would win the Super Bowl, even though they're all going to be dog shit this year.
Well, that would be, if the Raiders won,
his brain's breaking, like he can't, like that doesn't compute. Like he can barely get behind a regular season win. You're going to talk about a Super Bowl win?
Well, I was trying to figure out how I genuinely would feel if, let's say, the Raiders played the Eagles in the Super Bowl this year, and I had $60,000 on the line for the Eagles. Obviously, right now, immediate need, Wally's like, the Eagles, it can't be that bad losing the Super Bowl again. I did it when I was 10. But the other part of me is like, what if this is the last time they ever get there? Am I really going to saddle myself to a team that I know basically I sold out for the rest of my life? If they never win again, I'll blame myself. So I don't know. I'm a little torn on that. A little torn.
Did you do the math of what it would take if you picked all 32 teams? Like, would you just walk away with like 25 cents?
No, but by the end of the episode, I'll get it to you. I got down to 10, as you guys can see on our rundown. It's a hair under 2,000. So you can imagine by the time you get to 32 teams, you'd be winning like
1,000,
like a buck.
500. That's just on 12
250.
teams. Dude, yeah, that's brutal. You're probably walking away with some pennies, but hey.
I'll let you know by the end of the episode.
Sorry that I'm up.
You are up. No matter what, you're guaranteed a winner.
Yeah.
Green is green, baby. Just turn that into a parlay and you're fine.
Boom.
What we've been doing this last month is each episode we've previewed 2 divisions. But we're going to give you a quick recap right now. We're going to speed through this. We're going to tell you our division winners, their records, nothing else. Tell you the wild card teams, their records, nothing else. Jump into our AFC and NFC championship games, Super Bowl, and then we're on to week 1, fellas. So let's start right away.
Just to interrupt, if I did my math right, it's $1.07.
Okay, that's way more than I was anticipating.
God. We're so up.
Yeah,
we're up, baby.
I think it's time to retire.
Yeah, I was going to say, I'd take $1.07 right now.
For what?
Yeah, yeah. I'll meet you under the bridge.
Hit us with the AFC North, Wally. What you got?
The Bengals win the division, 12-5 record.
Same.
I got that. That one's easy. AFC South, I got Jacksonville winning it at 11-5.
I have them at 12-5.
So I assume you meant 11-6 then.
That's what I said. It's my accent.
That's what you're right. I got you. Some Southerners, man.
Yeah. Sorry.
AFC East. Buffalo Bills 14-3.
13-4.
Jets 13-4. Bah.
Jets. Jets.
Yes.
The AFC West. The Kansas City Chiefs 12-5. One of the losses coming tonight. We'll get to it.
Same.
We'll get to it.
Just saying. Kansas City 14-3. Couldn't regret this anymore.
I like that, especially with the Travis Kelce stuff.
I know.
NFC North. The Detroit Lions, fellas. 9-8. I know it's a low record, but that's first place. That's all that matters.
10-7.
Oh, Motor City Kitties. I'm with DK. I'm a 10-7 winning it. I literally cannot get that out. I'm like, who the hell are the Detroit Lions? Oh, all Are you talking about the aforementioned Motor City Kitties?
I want to find a way to like make an engine rev, but sound like a purr. Because I feel like that's just like out there for us.
Yeah, no.
But it's all right.
No, guys, no. Nah, can't do that.
The NFC South, the Fighting Derek Carr New Orleans Saints go 10-7. Finally get it done.
I got them at 9-8.
I have them winning at 13-4 on the year. Watch out. New Orleans is going to be a wagon until January comes.
Derek Carr MVP.
I hit you with the Numa, baby. Let's go with that
Offensive Player of the Year.
Offensive Player of the Year. I like that. NFC Eats, the EAGLES Eagles are going to win. I think I had it 13-4. I just threw my paper away.
Same.
Yeah,
Perfect.
I had them at 14-3. That one I'm actually not regretting on. The last but not least, the NFC West Niners 11-6.
Also have them at 11-6. Guys, I'm feeling real bad about all of this now that we're all on the same page.
No, I feel better
everything.
because of Wally. I feel better because of Wally on this one.
Well, Wally's a lunatic, but we'll ignore his fucking pick here.
15-2.
Ridiculous.
Not going to happen.
Ridiculous. So now we have what our divisions are going to look like. Let's get into what the playoff picture is, what we think in predictions. Here, what the 1 through 7 is, and what the playoffs are going to look like. Wally, you're up to bat, my man.
So here it goes. My fifth wild card. It's the Jets. The Chargers come in at 6. They're going to be 11-6, and the Steelers also 11-6 as the 7 seed. Look out!
Not going to happen.
Not with that attitude.
All right, my AFC
Amen.
5 at Miami is Miami 12-5, 6 New York Jets 12-5, 7 is Cleveland at 11-6.
Oh yeah, I probably should have done NFC too, huh, guys?
Yeah, you want to knock
That's all
that
right.
out since you're here?
No, I'm going to make this look like it was on purpose. Steven, let's hear your AFC wildcard teams, and then we'll come back through with the NFC.
Because that's where we're naturally doing it. Thank God that you edit this. We got the NFC semi-division winners. I already hate this. I completely regret it. But I got to stick true to my gun here. Dallas, Chicago, Green Bay is the 7th seed here, sneaking in. Over Seattle.
I don't hate it.
Which I regret because I forgot how much I actually really like Seattle this year. Even though I've been kind of negative over the past couple episodes, if it's a West episode or whatever it is, that one is going to come back and bite me in the ass.
All right, I'll hit you with my NFC ones now that you gave us yours. I have Dallas 12-5, 5 seed. Seattle 6 seed at 10-7. In the Atlanta Falcons, if anything, I feel low on this win total at 9-8.
You believe in Ritter so much.
I don't. That's the thing. We'll get into it.
No.
It's not. I'm telling you, it's the schedule too.
All right.
In bringing in those veterans on defense,
And that division outside of New Orleans is such a question mark, man.
Dirty Birds, baby.
Dirty
right.
Birds. I didn't get. Did you get your AFC, David, or your NFC?
I did my AFC already. I haven't done the NFC. So if you didn't do your AFC, hit it.
I did not. All of you.
All right. My NFC is Dallas at 11-6 at the 5 for the wild card. Seattle at 9-8 at the 6, and the New York Giants at 8-9 at the 7.
Okay. No, I like that. AFC, you already know my top 4. I'm going to have the 5 seed as the Los Angeles Chargers. Stop me if that sounds familiar at all. The 6 seed, I'm going to have the Miami Football Dolphins, if you've ever heard of them. Jalen Ramsey coming back a little bit late. Maybe he's going to be that late season surge, but maybe they don't really need him that much because Vic Fangio. But Tennessee as my 7 seed, Mike Vrabel season with their new. I'm trying to think of a fun little catchphrase to call their new like what 3-headed monster. I just can't think of it.
What? DeAndre Hopkins, Ryan Tannehill, and Derrick Henry.
DeAndre King of the Hill. What about that?
Well, I would have literally just have called it like this will be together for about 6 weeks and then it'll all come crashing down. That's what I would call it.
D's hopping on this hill to the king.
There you go. Very different approaches there. I like it.
That's what it's looking like. So let's get into where the money's really being made. We got the AFC Championship game. To break this down, who do you have representing your conference, Walter?
We are going to get a rematch of the Snow Bowl last year in Buffalo. The Bengals are going to Buffalo this year where they will be fully manned, they will be healthy, and it'll be a very tight game. What about you guys?
Sounds tight.
Yeah, it'll be tight.
No. Chiefs at Buffalo.
Give me the New York Jets
Woo.
going to Kansas City and Arrowhead for the AFC Championship game this year.
That would actually, we won't spend too much time on it because it's a hypothetical, but that would be all kinds of press going in. That would be ridiculous media.
It's a seamless transition that they've been waiting for a couple years, from the Patty Mahomes, Tom Brady, to now you get Aaron Rodgers.
Does Sauce Gardner cover Travis Kelce?
I mean, honestly, I don't know what you would do. You probably wouldn't want to move him inside. It's not his game, but I mean, you can at least entertain
Are
it.
you going to waste Sauce Gardner on Sky Moore? That's the question of the hour.
Or Kadarius Toney. Who knows? Maybe we'll find out maybe in a couple hours here. Who's the number one?
Honestly, with all the hype that Justin Ross has been getting, maybe he ends up just kind of turning up this year and he's that guy. I don't know.
All right. Well, how about this? We go over to your NFC conference now, Steven. We'll go to you first. Who is your NFC championship game?
Good. I have the New Orleans Saints traveling up to the Philadelphia Eagles. There's something about when you see these two teams next to each other. There's just so many memories that rush, but at the same time, zero memories that rush. It's just on paper looks like it is that team. The only thing I can think about is Reggie Bush getting lit up in the one playoff game. So I'm pretty sure that was against the Eagles in New Orleans the one year. If I'm wrong, you guys are obviously going to get on me about that. But I'm super high on Derek Carr, what that offense is able to do. But the highest I'm on is how easy their schedule is, and no one's talking about it. Everyone thinks I'm crazy for saying this. I'm like, look at their schedule. It doesn't matter.
Them and Atlanta have the two easiest schedules in football. It's just like they're going to naturally
be
above what they actually are.
Both dome teams, too. That's interesting.
It's why Derek Carr went there. I mean, playing in Philadelphia to end the year, I assume you had Philadelphia as a 1 seed, you said.
Yeah.
That would be that'd be a little nerve-wracking as a former Derek Carr stan.
Got the Saints over the Niners as my 3 seed, and the Lions losing to the Eagles. And that's how it gets to the NFC Championship game.
I like that.
Saints over the Niners is tough, man. I've got the Niners at Philly. I think it's a rematch of last year, and it's just because I don't believe in anyone in the NFC outside of those two teams.
I'm pretty boring, too. I have the same matchup, David, just reversed. I have San Francisco actually hosting Philadelphia this time around. I mean, I guess you would expect that if I had them going 15-2. And I didn't have them going 15-2 on accident, because I will spoil it right now. They are in the Super Bowl for me, where they would be matching up for the 3rd time in Super Bowl history with the Cincinnati Bengals. And unfortunately, the same result happens for the 3rd straight time. 49ers get it done. Kyle Shanahan gets a win, and David doesn't want to be on the podcast come February 15th.
That's a fact. I have Philly over Buffalo, and I feel gross about all the playoff picks because I feel like
it's very chalky.
Yeah, it's just gross.
Me too.
But like, I can't. I have to bet on the two teams I believe in the AFC, and then the NFC. There's only 2 teams that I like. You know, I believe in the Philly is the best team in the NFC, so I think they're gonna make it. But like, I feel gross about all those picks.
Give me Philly over the New York Jets. Can Philly make it back? And if they do, I just cannot see them losing, and this is going to be such a fun media train, because I'm predicting that this is going to be a Jason Kelce farewell tour that we're experiencing. We're getting back to the Super Bowl, but it's also versus, is this Aaron Rodgers' actual last chance to get that ring? Is he going to play? Wow. Maybe the drama's stirring up where he's not really as happy as how the season progressed, and then all of a sudden they go on a playoff run, and now it's changed. Is he still feeling the same? If they lose it, or is he going to come back? If they win, is he going to come back? There's going to be so many storylines going into this. He's going to lose a Super Bowl. He won't come back just to lose again, and then he's going to retire. Green Bay's going to love him again, and then we're back. Full disclosure, if I haven't already dropped it, I drunkenly already put Aaron Rodgers to win the MVP and the New York Jets to win the Super Bowl. So I'm sorry.
All right, so hands down, my flaws. I will be a lifelong Eagle fan if they cuck Aaron Rodgers in the Super Bowl.
You're going to be doing the EAGLES.
I will have 3 Eagles jerseys on the day that Super Bowl takes place.
I tell you what, though, that's one of those things. Give me the Kelly Green Landon Dickerson jersey. I'd be rocking that shit every day. No shame.
See, no, that's like, this would be around the time, like, if they're doing really bad and they want a playoff run, that is the time I'm going to be the worst. I'm like, yep, that's my boy again. Like,
Yeah.
really?
Oh.
Here's 9 months of you don't care. It's recorded. Don't care. I can change my mind.
That's
It's a
the
free
beauty
country.
of the podcast game. We can pick and choose what we decide to remember.
Yeah, I mean, you're the gatekeeper on this, Wally, so you can really screw me on any time if you want. If we're being honest,
I'm like the best way I can describe it is I'm like a one-legged gatekeeper. It's very easy to get by. I let everything through because I'm like, you know what? They enjoy our flaws as much as they enjoy listening to us.
Yep.
Not sound like morons.
With that, guys, it's time. I never thought this day was going to come, and I cannot be any more excited. Before I continue my excitement, we want you to know that this week 1 prediction, let me repeat that, week 1, we are back at it like a crack addict, motherfuckers. We wanted to remind you that this segment is brought to you by Abby Turner Creative, your one-stop shop marketing agency specializing in branding, high-end photography, fashion, and more, especially if you're our age, where if it's weddings, graduations, babies, NFL kickoff on Thursday. Doesn't matter. You name it. It's happening every weekend. Abby Turner Creative is the only place to go. Check her out for yourself at her website, abbyturnerphoto.com. That's Abby, A-B-B-E-Y. Or on her Instagram, Saudade and Sapphire. Again, abbyturnerphoto.com. Run it back. Another happy birthday to her. Shout out to my man, Kyle Butson, winning Rookie of the Year at his job. Let's go.
Let's go.
If that isn't good mojo going in to watching his Lions play
so much tonight.
We're
one riding.
Motor
City Kitties, baby. Let's go.
We got a clean slate. No unit shaming. No record shaming going into this year, even though Wally was so fucking brutal.
I did great.
The Detroit Lions open up as a 4.5, which has now moved to 3.5 point underdog at Arrowhead against the Kansas City Chiefs. As we already mentioned, if you don't know, and you already know because this is coming out on Friday, Travis Kelce is out. Chris Jones is out because of contract issues. But the Lions going in, potentially the favorite, haven't won the NFC North since we were born. Finished last year 8-2 after a brutal 1-6 start. Also being a top offense during that 1-6 start. Mind-boggling. Boys, first game of the year, ripping this beautiful Band-Aid off. Who do we have?
Oh, and that's a great question because, first of all, just a quick explanation for you guys at home. We're doing 5 bets that we are putting our name next to each week now just to make this easier. And it'll be really easy at the end of the year to see how we did then. So 5 bets. We'll pick games, but we're giving you 5 bets and we'll tell you when that happens.
That's on me.
With that being said, no. You don't ever apologize to me. You're beautiful. I'm going to keep this short and sweet because
sure?
I'm an idiot. I am buying into smoke. You can see with the blue. I'm buying in. I think this is a Lions team that can actually be special this year. I just hope they get out of their own way. This is Jahmyr Gibbs season. Lions win 31-28. That's out of hell today. Come on.
I got the Chiefs winning because I'll never bet against Patrick Mahomes. It's just the way it rolls. Even though I love the Lions and I'm rooting for them to win, if I had a bet, it would be on the Chiefs.
Motor City Kitties plus 4.5, plus 3.5. Excuse me, because the line adjusted. Give me that money line as well. Dare I say, lock of the century? No, I'm not going to say that. No, we already said it. No Travis Kelce, no Chris Jones. It's self-explanatory. Everything we're all saying. Give me Detroit. Dan Campbell's going to have his boys thriving. A little bit of barbecue on their tum-tum.
And everybody's talking about Travis Kelce. Their barbecue sucks. Kansas City barbecue sucks. It's like 18th in the country. Anyways,
I'll hear back from my boy Brock Chamberlain, who is out at the game right now. Shout out to him. Couple of his other Toledo boys. So I need to get a report, a breakdown, because he's in South Carolina now, so he's got that southern barbecue at his expense. Two totally different things, but agreed, vinegar based. Fuck me up.
Come on, every time vinegar based, anything is better.
Yeah, vinegar based vinegar is my favorite, I think.
Me too. Sam Laporta, Brian Branch, look out for them. This will be Friday morning when you hear this, so if they didn't play well, just ignore that. I was talking about something else. Steven, how about you throw us into in my opinion, best game of the week?
I lucked out with this. Again, so how we're doing this, it's almost like a snake draft. We get to pick the 5 games, 6 games, whoever the odd man out is this. So, your boy got the number 1 overall pick. The first game that is dedicated, wouldn't say relegated, to your boy. We got the Pittsburgh Steelers hosting the San Francisco 49ers at what should still be the Heinz Field. Niners are 2.5-point favorites. Now, this is a big question mark because a lot of people are wondering, is Nick Bosa going to play? He's holding out for a contract. Well, 5-year, $170 million. During that time, he is going to most likely play. But give me the Steelers plus 2.5. And you know what? Give me their money line as well. I'm switching here live. Give me the Pittsburgh money line. Pittsburgh's won their last 3 openers. That's against the New York Giants, which means nothing. But the last 2 against the Buffalo Bills, when they were real hot 2 years ago. Don't forget about the Cincinnati Bengals, when they started slow. Well, now they started slow, but now it's not a good win for the Steelers in the beginning of the year. I love Pittsburgh at home. Mike Tomlin's got them juiced. This is something I say every year at the beginning of the year. It's so hard to judge these games. Oh, well, last year this defense ranked. Who gives a shit what last year this defense ranked, right? TJ Watt wasn't even half the game, right? And this goes across the whole board when people look at stats of last year. First game, everything's on the table. Balls to the wall. Everyone's 100%, at least 99% healthy outside of a couple. Mike Tomlin's going to have them running through a brick wall like I had David ready to run through one when we started this podcast. I'm ready. Steel Nation, Yinzers, give me that Pittsburgh potty. We taking a big dub. I am.
You go ahead.
Did I get it?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. San Francisco, this is a bet. I'm taking the 2.5-point spread. And
all right, it's a bet.
I think Pickens is, if we want to throw a live prop bet out there, Pickens to throw 3 interceptions, just lock it in.
Well, God, that'd be crazy. He doesn't throw much as wide receiver. Caught him.
Or Pickett.
Fucking dweeb.
Pickett. Both of them are fucking dumb. Pickett, 3 interceptions.
I'm more surprised they did 3 trick plays where the wide receiver threw the ball.
Well, I mean, with Mike
Wouldn't
Tomlin
surprise
back
me.
with
That's
the
going to
Steelers,
be the only way they win games this year.
Randall shit.
I also...
You're right. George Pickens is an MVP candidate
as a passer,
too.
I did forget to mention this, though, which is a really good driving point. And this may have deterred you away, David, but the weather's looking rough. Possible rain.
Tell me that. That's beautiful.
It's giving me not as ugly as last year against Chicago, but ugly rain. San Fran coming from the West Coast, going to Pittsburgh. I'm just saying.
Here's the best part, too. The Pitt Panthers play on Acrisure Field the night before.
Oh, good.
We're talking 16 hours
before. The game's going
before.
to end 10-7, and you're going to question whether Brock Purdy and Kenny Pickett can be NFL QBs going forward. Can't wait.
Oh, you don't know me if you think that's going to happen. I'm going to be over there
This
just like...
guy. Why? Do you need some help? Let me help you over there, bro. Come here. Yeah, sure.
Come here. We'll get this going.
Yep, just stirring up some pepper. Say when.
What I will say, I'm not betting on it, but I saw you two in the text. For the people at home, they have a $50 bet on the George Pickens bet that we discussed a few months ago.
You're on that too, aren't you?
I never agreed to the money thing. What I was going to ask right now.
Yeah, he's being a bitch. No. It's fine.
You know what I was going to say. I'm not being a bitch.
It was pulling teeth to get you there.
15-2 San Francisco 49ers, but
this is one of the losses.
Ready to hear this. What I was going to say is instead of the bet like that, David, at the end of the regular season, whoever loses...
Why are you picking me out?
Because you and I bet on George Pickens is what I'm saying. That's what I'm talking about.
This makes sense.
The George Pickens bet, at the end of the regular season, whoever loses should have to wear a dunce cap for the shows leading until the Super Bowl. It'd be like 4 or 5 shows.
No, it wouldn't. That would be like
a wild card.
Like
I guess you have recaps too.
Shows.
It's 2 a week. All right, but that bet still stands. I'll even buy the dunce cap. $25. Stupid little cone. I'll do it if you do it.
It's a Steelers dunce cap.
Why do you even have to buy it? A dunce cap is literally just a paper cone with a D on it. Like,
whoa! Watch out! David's got paper at his house, Mr. Made of Money. Jesus.
Oh my God!
Would you want to do it? I'd do it if you'd agree to that.
Actually,
handshake. You heard it.
No, I agree with David. I think you should handcraft the dunce cap because it'd just be more meaningful.
That's a fact.
It should actually. You know what? The loser or the person who wins gets to make the dunce cap for the other one.
Yeah.
How are you going to do that?
You're the one who pitched the idea that
you're going to spend but you're going to spend $1 creating this and then like $10 shipping it to the person.
No, because I will be in Cleveland, you son of a bitch.
That is true.
I'm on my way.
That is true. Parents will be out back at the crib. Wally's gonna come busting down that door. Hey, boy, can I stay a couple nights? But really, he's
I'll be showing up on Sunday.
Wow.
It'll be week 8.
It's going to be week 8, and you're going to be
George
wearing the
Pickens
Dunce Cap to try and get out of it
yards.
for the playoffs.
Dude, I love it.
Anyways, we'll go to the second game. My first pick, mind you, this week. You're going to be shocked when you hear the teams. Carolina at Atlanta, where the Falcons are 3.5-point favorites. Totals 39.5. I am all in, fellas.
I love it.
Dirty Bird country. It's who I'm in. I'm a Dirty Bird now.
Well,
ATL. Always happened.
Well, you've always been dirty, and birds aren't real. But if you guys didn't see it on Twitter, if you guys have been listening for a while, or if you're like at day one, the full circle moment that we're having on this podcast is amazing. It started off with how high I was on Atlanta, with Wally laughing in my face as he was so right that one year. I think I doubled down on him again the following year. Got burnt, hated them. Wally still hates them, and all of a sudden he's like, you know what? I see something in this.
Oh, we're shipping it FedEx.
I'm gonna make the Falcons my prom queen.
Oh, you and me both, brother. We're gonna both be out there doing the promposals then. All I gotta say, this is everybody looking at this. It's two obvious thoughts: Bryce Young debut, Bijan Robinson debut. That makes sense. What people are gonna forget, because the Falcons haven't been sexy, is they brought in a lot of veteran talent on this defense. Jesse Bates, Calais Campbell. You have Arthur Smith going extra hard into this running game. They have a new joker position that they're trying to even get Cordell Patterson involved.
They literally marked J on the depth chart with just Scordale right there. Like that is wild to me.
That's how much they love this guy. And you wonder about Kyle Pitts too, because if he can find a way to break through this year, then this Falcons offense could be really fun, but it all goes down to Desmond Ridder again. But I'm going to put my money where my mouth is, Falcons fans. This is one of my first bet of the week, the Falcons minus 3.5. I'm on the bandwagon all the way. It's my kind of team. I'm seriously having an internal war, actually, about who's going to win the South between them and the Saints and Derek Carr, which is ironic given the fact that it's one of the most intense rivalries in football, and I'm over here like rubbing shoulders with both of them. But I don't know. It feels like this is as close to the Big Ten as we can get in 2023 NFL football, and I'm all about it. These first two games, they make me feel a type of way. Let's get weird, Dirty Birds. They win me over in September. Who knows? Maybe by October. I'm all the way in on the Atlanta Falcons.
Disgusting. Just disgusting. Look, I'll give you the only reason I would pick the Falcons here, which I am. I think the Falcons win this game. Not betting on it, but the Panthers lost, I believe, both starting receivers today, did they not? They missed practice, and I think they're up in the air for the game.
They'll be fine. They don't even throw the ball. Who cares?
Was it LaVisca Chenault?
The Panthers?
No. I thought you were saying that. I was like, did I miss something?
No.
I was like, the Falcons have 2 wide receivers on their roster?
Oh, yeah. What, DJ Shark and Adam Thielen?
Yes, both of them missed practice today. Both of them might miss the game. That's a reason to pick Atlanta alone.
Mingo season.
Mingo
ate my baby.
Shout out to everybody at home.
I thought you just fucking said that too, Wally. It just threw me off.
That's our fantasy football league.
That's our fantasy football league name. It has been for years.
Yeah, since Barkevious Mingo was drafted to the Browns.
Oh, I was like, from fucking what? A Mingo ate my... Well, damn, I thought I was super original there. This is not one of my games, so I don't...
Worlds colliding right there.
Yeah, everything. I'm like, where's this coming from?
Yeah, I didn't think... just like I said in my tweet, I didn't expect a Barkevious Mingo-themed fantasy draft on my bingo card to be reviewed tonight, but apparently it is. This is not one of my games, but I definitely want to give some input on this. You know me. Give me Carolina. Like, if I'm betting this, or if I was submitting this as one of my bets, Carolina plus 3.5, but give me Atlanta money line. You know I'm a sucker, especially for the NFC South matchups that are anywhere above that field goal, right? This is something that these teams can win by the hook. Atlanta, in this case, of that 0.5. But to Wally's point, Atlanta has a lot of new pieces on defense. There's a lot of question marks on offense for Atlanta, as well as there's a lot of question marks for Carolina on the offensive side of the ball. What we're not talking about is what Carolina's defense is going to be able to do. That's going to be a real big question mark, and that is the unit that's going to keep this team in a lot of those games. And at that point, we'll see what that rushing offense is, or that rushing defense is going to look like. I'm very confident in what they can provide in the passing unit defensively. But if they're going to be able to, if they can stop the run, they're going to have an amazing chance at this win. And if that's the case, they're good at the run, maybe at the division. We're jumping a little bit too soon. But Carolina plus 3.5, too many points for a division matchup with a lot of question marks going into it for me.
It's just something about that offensive line for Carolina scares the shit out of me. And what David
said, Atlanta's that much better. But they also have a rookie that's they utilize their O line way better schematically, right? But at the end of the day, we haven't seen Frank Reich use that. We're only basing it off preseason, which we all preach. Can't base a lot off preseason, so.
We go into what now was one of my last picks. It's a pretty ugly game, but I got it for a couple reasons. The Houston Texans are going to Baltimore, where the Ravens are 10-point favorites, believe it or not. Only 10-point or more favorite of the week in week 1. That's a good sign, at least, you'd hope. Total's 43.5. But it's more importantly, C.J. Stroud, Will Anderson's debuts as players, and D'Amico Ryan's debut as a head coach. So 10 points to me, I'll already tell you, this is a second bet for me. The Texans are going to cover 10 because that's just a whole hell of a lot of points for now a Ravens team that brought in Todd Monken as their new offensive coordinator. Sounds a little yay and nay about how that's gone in camp. You have OBJ, maybe, he's hurt all of a sudden, and Zay Flowers about to make their debut with the team. And then we mentioned last game, Calais Campbell's gone. That is a massive hole for this defense. Outside of Michael Pierce, they have so much youth on this defensive line. But what I would say is the Ravens are going to win this game, but my bet's on the Texans. All eyes are on Lamar. If he does well and you're a Ravens fan, yip hooray. But if you're a Texans fan, it's all about flashes in this game. You want to see CJ throw a couple good throws, look comfortable, just lead the offense. And in Will Anderson, you want him to look like he has game-changing capabilities. He doesn't have to change the game right away, but you need to know what's there. And I don't know. I just really don't know. And then last but not least, before I get your guys' thoughts, Tank Dell and John Mechie. John Mechie just beat cancer. We're finally going to see him on the field.
He's about to beat cancer and about to beat a cover 2 in the same fucking week. I love it.
Oh,
same year, sorry.
It works. I'll take it. But if the camp noise is real, Houston might be surprising in the passing game this year, and I hope that's the case.
So what I really like, and what I want to ask you this question now, what makes you, especially after the argument about how young the front four for Baltimore's defense is, their linebackers are awesome. I think their secondary is still a little bit of a question mark. Marcus Peters is going. We'll see how, I can't remember the safety that they got from Notre Dame 2 years ago who's coming into his second year.
Kyle Hamilton.
Yeah, so there's a couple guys that have that question mark. But with that being said, and with the revamped, now paid offensive line that Houston gives, what makes you think that Houston can't pull an upset because of the turf war or the war in the trenches that they can win, at least on that side of the ball?
No, I actually think that's a brilliant call, Steven. This is one of those games I don't have the nuts to actually put my name on an upset.
This would be the time to do it, for the record.
You're right. But it's like, if this happens, don't be surprised. It's just, that's a big ask for a rookie making his first career start, a head coach making his first career debut as a head coach. It's a lot to ask. If I'm a Texans fan, I want to just feel competitive in this game.
You just probably want to feel something at this point. But no, I'm with you. If I was to bet, I would take Houston with the points here. Here's the thing. Here's a couple things I want to point out. D'Amico Ryan's impact, I think it's just going to apply in game 1. Outside, and maybe David can back me up on this too, outside of Baltimore, have you heard anything coming out about Lamar Jackson and what that offense can do? Zay Jones has flashes, that's great. I haven't heard a single thing about Odell. Haven't heard a single thing about Lamar Jackson. David, you're the AFC North guy. Maybe you're a little bit closer to the sun on this because you would cross paths a little bit easier than me and Wally would. But can you back me up on this or tear me down?
I'm backing you up. I haven't heard a thing other than the occasional Zay Jones or
that should be alarming.
Is it Zay? It's Zay Jones, right?
No, Zay Flowers.
Zay Flowers.
Zay Flowers.
Yes.
Yeah. So I've seen the occasional highlight out of camp from him, but like outside
Or
of that,
J.K. Dobbins missing another week or two. It's like I haven't heard a single positive. Like that is the I've heard nothing coming out of the Steelers, which is better than what I've heard coming out of Baltimore, which is wild.
I actually agree, but I still, if I were betting, I'm not, but if I were betting, you probably have me at Houston plus 10. But if I do that, then Baltimore probably win by 30. So again, I'm not going to touch it, but I think you guys are right on the money with that. But let's take us to a more exciting AFC North matchup.
Oh, damn it. I thought we were getting to the best matchup that you somehow got to cover.
The Cincinnati Bengals, 2.5-point favorites at Cleveland. Apparently Joe Burrow's got a calf strain. They got a whole new secondary. They get a new left tackle. Jonah Williams is at right tackle now. Browns have a lot of new changes. The whole defense changes under Jim Schwartz. They've added a boatload of D linemen. And the whole season comes down to how Deshaun Watson plays. But
100%.
I'm taking Cleveland money line. That's an actual bet. I normally would take Cincinnati, but you look at Cleveland against Cincinnati the last 4 years, and I think they're like 6-8 or 6-2,
6-2, yeah,
or something like that. And I don't know. That's just weird to me. It's weird to me.
Where was the second win? I thought they never.
Is it 7-1? Is it?
They never beat Baker. Baker's undefeated. Right?
In Burrow's tenure, the Bengals are 1-5. The year before they got Burrow, they split.
Okay, I was right. Yeah, 6-2.
Okay.
So I just, for some reason, I'm picking Cleveland at home, and obviously Cincinnati's the better team, but I'll take Cleveland at home just because of the matchup.
Dude, I don't know, David. And it's inside looking out is way different than outside looking in, like me and Wally are. But dude, I love the Browns this year.
It pains me though because it all hinges on Deshaun Watson. It all hinges on Deshaun Watson.
Dude, the hype.
I think a lot does.
As much as I used to hate Jim Schwartz, I think strictly because I wasn't like mentally mature enough for liking individuals in football quite yet. Because he was the Detroit Lions coach. He looked like. God, dude, he looked like someone you know what he used to look like? He used to look like the fat little chubby nerd kid from Benchwarmers. So every time I saw him, I just want to punch him right in the fucking face.
The guy that eats the
sunscreen? No, like the curly-headed little boy of like John, whatever his name is, that's in the movie. John Lithgow. Or not John Lithgow, John, yeah. But like the kid that they're like making all this for, because that's what Jim Schwartz looked like in my mind. So I just wanted to punch him. But he's going to be an instant. You can almost make an argument because now Jalen Ramsey is hurt that Jim Schwartz is going to have a way bigger impact on Cleveland than Vic Fangio is going to have on Miami now. Like I am so high on them. It's so proven different. I'm going to say I would be taking Cleveland on this. Burrow's calf injury, it's a question mark. They like to start slow. 1-2 in his 3 seasons or 3 season openers that Joe Burrow's had. I really like the defensive side of the ball where for Cincy, even though we've given them a little bit of hype, which is all training camp hype about that defense, I think Cleveland's just going to have the upper hand on this one.
I go Cleveland money line too. Again, this is maybe where we all should be a
little bit. And now David really hates it.
Yeah, like we're in lockstep on this just because you said it just now, Steven, but the Bengals have started slow under Joe Burrow, and a large part of that is he hasn't played in preseason, whether it be because of an injury or because of his appendectomy, whatever. And they're going to start slow again. In the way these teams match up, I wouldn't be surprised if this looks a lot like the Halloween game last year, where the Browns are thoroughly in control of the game. Until we see the offensive line be able to kind of hold up against Myles Garrett, I'm going to keep betting the pass rush. And we saw the biggest time the Bengals struggle is when Joe Burrow doesn't have time to dissect the defense, and I don't think he will. You heard me, I have the Bengals in the Super Bowl, obviously, but the Browns are going to win, and I think they might win convincingly on Sunday.
The next game we have on the slate, this is for me, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers going up to the Minnesota Vikings, where the Vikes are 6-point favorites. Buccaneers going into the post-Tom Brady era. It's now starting with, drumroll please, your boy Baker Mayfield. So no Donovan Smith, Ryan Jensen's out for the season, basically out for his career. 4 starting offensive linemen drafted in the last 4 seasons. Mike Evans have a huge question mark, but we go over to the Vikings. This is a team that I want to say was like 11-1 in one possession games, a negative 3-point differential in 2022. And outside of Daniil Hunter on this defense, all they did was lose arguably some of their best players. And cool, you got to keep Harrison Smith, who's kind of on his way out. Give me Tampa Bay +6 on here. I'm taking Baker in this game. This is easily This is easily outside of the first year that the Browns got Odell with Baker, the most loaded unit that Baker has got to play with since then. Odell was always injury ridden. It always seems like it was just a carousel of, is Jarvis Landry ever going to pop? Okay, we got DPJ that's showing this. What the heck's going on with Njoku? Like across the board, they're good. I mean, you got Mike Evans, a Hall of Fame wide receiver. Chris Godwin, that is a stud. I like what Rashard White that you have here in the backfield. Offensive line, that seems like that's always a question mark in the last couple of years of Baker's career. But here's the thing. I don't trust Minnesota's defense. Yes, Brian Flores is now the defensive coordinator there in Minnesota, but this isn't like Vic Fangio going to Miami, where there are star players and studs on this team that you can build around. You have Daniil Hunter. That's it. I don't know anyone in the secondary. Harrison Smith, their safety, I like them a lot, but this is a perfect Baker game. Facilitate, game manager, and you will win. I still believe the Vikings can win this game, don't get me wrong, but that's a lot of points on the opening game for a team that's a -3-point differential with an 11-1 one-possession record last year.
-3-point differential, 13-4. And we'll never not say that. It's funny as hell.
And we'll never say that again, too.
No, we really likely won't.
We were like, calling them frauds from like week 7 on. That was
we were calling them frauds week 1. Yeah,
it was pretty early after. After the Packers game, that was
because I picked them to win last year, so I was hyped after they beat the Packers, as hyped as you can be. But then after like week 2 or 3, we're like, this just ain't it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm intrigued with the Bucs offense versus Brian Flores' defense, even though there's no one on it. Vikings defense is going to be awful this year. I do think they'll win this game, but I think they're going to give Bucs fans a lot of false hope too, because I think Baker's going to look all right, the $3 million man himself. But I'm not betting that game.
I'm not betting it either. This is one of my uglier games of the week that I'm actually not betting at all. 0%, whether on the podcast or in my own personal betting apps. But let's move to an even uglier matchup, though.
By the way, David, I'm sorry for taking this game off you. I definitely should have let you have this one.
Hard pass. I am unsinking the Baker Mayfield ship, but I'm going to give you something even uglier. Yes. I am going to give you something even uglier, which is Arizona at Washington, with Washington 7-point favorites. The Cleveland washout, Josh Dobbs starting for the Cardinals. Sam Howell starting for fucking Commanders. I'm not touching this game with a 10-foot pole, so take it away, boys.
I'm the same way. This is way too many points based off what the product Washington has put out the last couple of years. If I'm looking at anything, and this is even a hot take, I'm going to go with the over at 38.5. Arizona's defense is a joke. That whole team is a joke. We're going to be tanking. To your point, Josh Dobbs is going to be starting, which that wave and that energy is so far gone from that victory there in Tennessee. That too many points. Give me the over. I can see a defensive touchdown by Washington happening here. I can see it.
That's where the over would hit. Exactly. It's an ugly game.
I can see see like maybe like a Brian Robinson rushing touchdown, Scary Terry ripping one off that has no business scoring a touchdown, a garbage, maybe 7 to 10 garbage points from Arizona, and then maybe we get like a special teams or just another touchdown. That's going to put you right almost at that 38 mark. So again, maybe another field goal here and there, but this is really low, but it shouldn't be low for as lack of defense there is, because Washington has a majority of the good defensive players, and I just have zero trust in any unit that Arizona's putting out here. Also, I fucking hate Jonathan Gannon. Cannot stand that dude. I am so out on that guy. That's a dude that would just, you know who Jonathan Gannon is? He's that dude that has a really hot girlfriend for absolutely no reason, but then he's out with said hot girlfriend, and then he watches somebody go up and talk to her, and then she's just like, oh, well, my boyfriend's right there. And then the guy looks at him up and down. Jonathan Gannon does nothing and goes, that's cool. And then continues talking to his girlfriend. And then Jonathan Gannon continues to do nothing. That's what type of person he is. That dude literally walked into a loaded defensive unit. Have you seen the videos come out about this dude? Not someone, he's a substitute teacher. That dude's not making it this year. They're getting a new coach next year. Fouls OP. I'm calling it now. Brian Flores, Vic Fangio, head coaching candidacy for the Arizona Cardinals next year.
Yikes. I have the Commanders, aka the Commies, winning a game, and I seriously mean this. We should think about, like, when we have potential, like, terrorists, we should make them watch games like this. And just, like, on repeat for 24 hours. Because I really do think it's that kind of... Well, we got to think
about it. This is American football. They don't have it over there, so they would just think it's normal TV.
Oh, that's even worse. You're going to make them hate America more. I guess I see your point. More or less, this is going to... You should show
videos of people getting bombed and surviving. Yeah, does that piss you off?
This will be a game I wouldn't show my worst enemy, is more or less the point I'm saying. Steven, Tennessee at New Orleans. Go for it.
Yeah, so we got, again, I really feel bad I gave Wally this option to take it, but how could I not take it if it's still on the board? You know, we got the new three-headed monster with D-Hop being added to the Tennessee roster. Of course, him, King Henry, got Ryan Tannehill, which I guess is a 2.5-headed monster, but is this the last season with all three of these, or at least that, you know, King Henry and Tannehill being there? We all know what's happened with New Orleans. We got Derek Carr. We got a revamped offense, quote unquote. Jamal Williams added in there, taking the place of suspended Alvin Kamara for the first 3 games. I hate this, and I don't really feel how comfortable I'm with it. Oh, I feel horrible. Yeah, I've missed like 3 games. For the record, people, while we're on this, Cleveland money line is one of my bets, as well as Tampa Bay +6 is one of my. Those are my 3 out of 5 bets. But for this, give me Tennessee +3. This is going to be a really fun game to watch. I'm blessed up. I get to enjoy it. The new Big 3 in Tennessee. I love New Orleans this year, as you can tell based off where I'm putting them. But I'm super high. All I'm saying, or all I had been saying this offseason, is coaching. It's hard to bet against a good coach, especially week 1, and clearly. And everyone's going to agree with me outside of Louisiana. Tennessee is winning the coach matchup instantly. You don't even need to look any further.
Agreed.
Right? Vrabel's going to have his boys ready, like any NFL coach is going to have them ready for week 1. Well, Vrabel's one of those dudes that will have them ready come surprise. I'm not saying it's a shocker if New Orleans wins. If they win, it's by a point or 2. Or maybe a push with the 3. Give me Tennessee +3. Braves got his boys ready.
Oh, go ahead, David. Sorry.
Nah, take it away, Wally.
I'm just going to stroke off Derek Carr. So if you have something better to say, you feel free.
No, I don't have anything better.
Well, then there you go. Derek Carr is going to be the reason why the Saints win by more than 3, and that is one of my bets. So we have our first at-odds bet here, Stephen, of the year, and it fits that it's Derek Carr.
What are we taking?
It fits that it would be Derek Carr.
Should we throw wings on it? Order wings?
I'll throw wings next time we're together.
All right, 10-piece or wings?
10-piece or wings. Right there. Handshake agreement.
Oh, wings sound delightful.
If it's obviously 3, we walk away.
They'll be here by 8:15 to 8:45 here.
Ooh, big time jealous.
The Roadhouse wings too, Wally. I know you know about it. Anyone in Columbus, anyone going through Columbus, Hilliard, Roadhouse wings. Not Texas Roadhouse. You know how many times I've heard that? Roadhouse, extra crispy, hot with the dry rub combined. You'll orgasm. Wally, I'm so sorry for it. I'm so sorry.
Well, Wally's going to have his own orgasm because I think the Saints are going to win that game too, but I'm not betting on it.
Strokes.
Well, before you throw us in the next game, is that what you were going to do, David?
Pick the Saints?
We're going to chop it. I was going to say, let me just say this. People are pussyfooting around saying the Titans suck, and I'm going to do it. The Titans suck. I don't know why people like them this year.
I said that last year, and here we are.
I love Vrabel. I think he's a hell of a coach.
I said it 2 years before,
I don't see it.
They burned me.
The offensive line sucks. DeAndre Hopkins, if he's still DeAndre Hopkins, that is a big win.
He is. There's no question mark about that.
Their defense is going to be meh. This team's going to... No, fat W for Derek Carr. I'm excited for them wings you just described, Steven. My mouth is salivating.
I'm starving now, but that's why we're going to move on to the next game.
Well, you're going to eat well with this game, David.
I need to eat. I'm not going to eat well with this game because I'm going to make a bet, and then I'm going to hate the AFC South even more after they prove me wrong. Jacksonville, 4.5-point favorites at Indianapolis. They haven't won in Indy since 2017. That makes me want to throw up, but they haven't had Calvin Ridley, who is on every single one of my fantasy football teams this year, and that is why I'm betting. I am betting on the same jump that Josh Allen and Stephon Diggs made together with Trevor Lawrence and Calvin Ridley, and I am betting Jacksonville is at 4.5. I think they take this game, and I think they take it easily. And it's probably going to prove me wrong, but here I am betting against the historic odds.
First of all, talk about a full circle moment. David purposely picking this game. Like, I think he even had other games on the slate, and he purposely picked this game.
This was his second.
I am full sending
Calvin Ridley, right?
I am full sending Calvin Ridley this year.
Okay, that makes sense. I didn't even.
You have been. He's been on Calvin Ridley
I've been too.
At a weird level though. He was saying 1-1 in the draft 2 weeks
and I took him as my first receiver off the board in both drafts.
I know you did.
First pick or first receiver? That's wild.
They're keeper league, so it's like third round, first pick of the third round, basically.
Okay, I mean 3-1's not bad. Again, if I'm gonna pick anything on here, and I'm gonna take the over on this simply because I don't really trust Indy's defense, and I don't really know how I feel about Jacksonville's defense either. And then that's where the over is going to come into play a little bit. What if Anthony Richardson pops off, right? If you want to continuously compare him to Cam Newton had a historically great first game of his career. I got to look up the numbers, but I remember looking through all those the first career games, and Cam Newton having one of those games is crazy. So you never know. And at the same time, we got T-Law, we got Calvin Ridley, like you're saying. Calvin Ridley back. T-Law, third-year leap, loading. I don't want to take. We all know and I don't want to put you on the spot, David, which I am now, but I don't know what the winning streak is in Jacksonville going to Indy, but we all know the winning streaks here are weird or whatever it is, the records against these divisional foes. So just give me the over. I'm sticking away from any spread on this game.
So to go back to Cam Newton, they lost by 7 in his opening game, but he threw for 422 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception, and he shockingly only ran 8 times for 18 yards and a touchdown.
Yeah, that was before they realized, hey, you know what? Maybe having a 6'6" guy that's stronger than most players on the field run the ball can actually help us. So that's
he was
good.
So fucking big, dude.
See, I'm picking the Jags, but it's going off what you both have kind of just said. Why I'm not betting this game. This is a really weird rivalry. Nobody wins except at home. You watch Anthony Richardson will ball out because of that in this game and then play like shit the next 16 weeks. So I don't know. I'm not betting it. I will take the Jags, but it's a weird game. Very weird. Which ends the 1 o'clock slates.
But it takes us into a weird 4 o'clock slate, which is the Rams at Seattle. And Seattle's a 5.5-point favorite. Cooper Kupp seemingly never is going to play football again. Stafford and Donald are healthy, but who really cares? It's the Rams, and they went all in on their Super Bowl, and now they're all old and decrepit. But Seahawks,
which is wild because that's like a year and a half removed, like 2 years removed, like dude.
Yeah, I mean, it's insane.
So funny. They literally went fuck them picks, and they're like, "Those picks sound nice right now. Those picks sound real nice right now."
Seattle's coming back off of a surprising season to everyone but Wally, and I don't know. I'm betting on this game.
Just killed a bug with my bare hands. Sorry, I just wanted to brag to anybody that saw that on YouTube. I'm really good.
So fuck Wally, 1 and 2.
Yes.
The The reason I shouldn't have made my last bet is the reason I'm making the current bet, which I'm actually betting on the Rams plus at 5.5. And I'm doing it because without Stafford and Kupp last season, they still didn't lose by more than 4 to the Seahawks. So I'm going to keep that close, and I'm just Rams plus 5.5. Seahawks probably win, but I'm betting just the plus 5.5.
Seahawks win this game. It's going to be a sweat. First game, everyone's high on life with the whole brimming of hope and expectations. Just talking about the Jaguars and Colts, who remembers a couple years ago where Gardner Minshew led the Jaguars to beat the Colts in week 1, and then it was something to the effect of 1 not done, and then they lost the next 16 games. Weird things happen week 1, so I'm not betting this one. I agree with you, David. It will be tight, but the Seahawks are, to me, significantly better, especially without Kupp. So I would bet them if I had to, but we'll see. Weird game.
Honestly, I would be looking at, and really it's going to be depending on how comfortable you are with it. I'm in on the Rams at plus 5.5. This is way too much, but sprinkle a little bit on the money line just for kicks and gigs. Pete Carroll is 2-5 on road season opening games. But here's a extremely fun fact, Wally. I know you love these. Pete Carroll has not won a season opener on the road against a division opponent since his first year coaching the Seattle Seahawks in 2010. He hasn't won a season opener on the road against a divisional opponent in 13 years.
How many tries did he have?
I want to say 4 or 5.
Okay. All right.
But just to put this in perspective, if the amount of the gap of the last time he beat a divisional opponent on the road as a season opener, if you made that gap into an age, into a person, that's why R. Kelly's behind bars. It's been 13 years. That's wild.
The defending NFC champion Philadelphia Eagles are going to Foxborough. Total set at 45. Let's just get some background first. This is the Eagles team last year. We're talking about at 2 sacks away from the NFL record. Howie did an exceptional job keeping this roster looking like it did last year. Yeah, you lose the offense and defensive coordinator. You heard Steven obviously not liking the former defensive coordinator very much. I do think that the Shane Steichen move will hurt. It will take a little bit of time. But the Patriots on the flip, what a chaotic 12 to 14 months they've had. It's just disastrous. They did waive Bailey Zappi last week. We talked about that, where Mac Jones is clearly number 1 now. No questions. The only problem is his top 3 receivers to start the year are going to be Juju Smith-Schuster, who his knees apparently Chernobyl.
Yeah, it's a ticking time bomb. And where I got that quote was Juju Smith-Schuster saying, "No, it's not a ticking time bomb," which means that's exactly what it is. Shout out my man Oppenheimer.
Pretty much exactly right. And then Devontae Parker. So it's like those are your top 3. The only thing that you can really be excited for as a Patriots fan is this defense could be sneaky elite, like sneaky good, especially if Christian Gonzalez hits the ground running. I seriously love the defense, but it's just like I'm going to need to see the offense kind of click in any respect first, and it's just not going to happen in this game. The passing game isn't going to generate points. This defense is going to get home, and if that's the case, I don't know how this is going to stay within 4. If I had an extra bet or two, this would have been one of them, but I'm not going to. But I do think the Eagles will win this game without too much of a shock.
I think that you just nailed it perfectly. There's a lot of unproven on New England's defensive side of the ball in their secondary. You know, Matt Judon's an absolute freak, which that's going to be a fun matchup to watch for the trench gods that we are. Matt Judon against that offensive line in Philly is always going to be fun. But no, I'm not confident enough because it's opening weekend to take the 4 points. So I'm just going to go with the money line. Not one of my bets, if I was to choose gun in my head, money line for Philly.
David, you going fly Eagles fly?
Of course. I'm not betting on it in the podcast wise. I'd bet Eagles by 1 million on the betting apps, but I don't know. The only point I have to make is Juju Smith-Schuster is going to end up making more money as a TikTok star than as an NFL player.
He's such a dweeb. Wally.
And you know, unfortunately, what that means.
Wally's next game, we got his Vegas Raiders heading out to Mile High Stadium, where Wally instantly gets to put his money where his mouth is yet again. We know what the Broncos headlines were this past year. They got Sean Payton back in coaching as the head coach. Telling Russell Wilson to stop fucking kissing babies and sack up for once. The Raiders, we know how the Raiders are, right? You're losing Derek Carr. You got Himmy G almost tripped up on there. You're going to have Hunter Renfrow back after being unhealthy. Darren Waller was shipped out to the New York Giants. Some question marks on the defensive side of the ball. Even though you got that boy, Marcus Peters, could he make a resurrection, mini resurrection? I don't know, Wally. I'm not really feeling it. But, Wally, your team, season opener against Denver. How are we feeling?
I mean, I really don't care.
Yeah, you do.
The Chandler Jones saga is hilarious. I mean,
I'm
already exhausted.
We haven't even talked about that.
Yeah, no, I was going to throw it into that with the game. It's just a joke. The whole team is a joke. I'm exhausted already. I'm picking them, ironically, too, to win this game. They beat the Broncos 6 straight times. But beyond, that's got nothing to do with my thoughts about the Vegas Raiders. It's all about how low I am on the Broncos. I'm at the point where, like, let's make it 7 before the tank for Caleb reaches dry land. But I don't know. I couldn't give 2 shits about this game.
Agreed. But
I'm taking a leak.
This is arguably the ugliest game of the entire week. It's only behind Arizona, Washington. This is like a battle of who's going to lose the division. I don't know. I'm out. I'm not betting on this in my apps, and I'm not betting this on the podcast. Just both are trash teams. One's got a good coach, and that's about it.
Who? Oh, Sean Payton. I was like, well, I guess we'll see about that. But no, this game for some reason is giving me the Denver-Seattle game vibes of last year. Now, I'm not saying that. I mean, I guess it wouldn't be as ridiculous if Vegas comes out and wins, but there's so many. Everyone's really low on Vegas. Everyone's seemingly out, in the media and everything, and really hyping up Sean Payton and Russell Wilson back on the Broncos hype train like nothing ever happened last year. It would just be too perfect if Denver blew another game, especially a home opener against what is seemingly going to be the worst team in the division. It's going to be interesting. We'll see what Denver's defense is going to look like, because the Raiders' offense have enough star power to be able to put up points in the league. Like, that's not a question. It's like, what's that offensive line going to look like against a revamped-ish defensive line of Denver? They got Randy Gregory last year. They added Frank Clark this year. So it's going to be interesting. But will their O-line hold up against the rush? And I'm talking about the Raiders O-line. We'll see. If I'm taking any bet, which I'm not, but if I am, give me the over 44. That seems too low for an NFC or AFC West matchup, especially with a lot of these question marks going into the game.
I've got nothing else on that game. I really don't care.
Are we don't care about Green Bay, Chicago?
No, we don't care about
I do.
The Raiders, yeah.
Unfortunately, I do, where my 4th bet of the week, as well as the game that I'm covering, my Green Bay Packers heading up to start the Jordan Love era up in Chicago. Fuck your Mike David. Against Justin Field and the Chicago Bears, where Bears are going to be 1.5-point favorites, depending on what sportsbook you're going. That is ticking down. I've seen Green Bay as low as 1-point favorite. I'm sure this is going to, depending on what's going to happen here, Christian Watson, Romeo Doubs, both on the injury list, and kind of a question mark if they're actually going to play. Christian Watson more of Romeo Doubs in that scenario. But the Bears added DJ Moore. You added, I want to say Tremaine. It's TJ Edwards and Tremaine. Why am I doing this?
You're talking about for the Chicago
TJ
Bears?
Edwards and Tremaine Edmond. Jesus Christ. And Tremaine Edmond.
Yeah,
you can see why I'm confused a little bit, though. But the question mark is, I'm really looking excited for a Packers fan. The Packers D against what Justin Fields in that offense is being overhyped about in the preseason, and see what that's going to look like. But also, The most interesting matchup here is what is Green Bay's offense going to look like with Jordan Love as running quarterback? But what is Chicago's defense going to look like that is seemingly quote-unquote revamped? Matt Eberflus is the head coach, is a defensive-minded guy. Just like Cleveland and Cincinnati, I don't care who the quarterback is. Until proven otherwise, give me Green Bay plus 1.5. Give me their money line. We're going to make Chicago Bears fans hate their fucking lives on Sunday. You know what? Guess what? If Green Bay loses, I don't care. It doesn't erase the last 20 years. Good job, you got one win. I'm proud of you. It's like Michigan fans getting cocky for winning back-to-back when they just lost 8 in a row the decade prior.
I'll see you in 3 years with that mentality. Chicago money line.
I'll see you Monday with that mentality.
Chicago money line. Jordan Love is not the answer, and
you don't know that.
Now starts the Cleveland-esque era of quarterback runs for Green Bay.
Green Bay already did that in the '80s. We already knocked that out of the way early.
I know it's been 30+ years, and now it's coming right around.
I am with Steven. Even though it's not I'm betting on it, so I guess I feel good enough to make a bet. I do like the prospects for the Bears this year. It's been 25 out of 29 times. Like, you gotta prove that you can beat a team. There's like something to it, the mentality. What are you shaking your head? You're a Cleveland Browns fan.
For the last 30 years, they've had a Hall of Fame quarterback at the position. It's different. It's not like
You should know, just like I do. There's plenty of teams that we can't beat. I watch the Raiders lose to bad quarterbacks on certain teams all the time.
Raiders haven't had a Hall of Fame quarterback in decades either.
Well, I know, but I'm talking about their opponents. Thank you. I agree with Steven. My point.
Wow, holy shit. I'm so happy this is recorded. I said a player, and Wally agreed that he could be in the Hall of Fame.
Only Raiders are allowed.
Oh, gotcha. Alex Leatherwood.
But no, I'm taking the money line. I'm taking Alex Leatherwood first.
Jimmy G's going in as a Raider, by the way.
Well, then maybe he can get in. I'm taking the Bears, I'm taking the Packers, but I wouldn't be surprised at all if the Bears win. I just need to see it before I can actually buy in. Which leads us into the last of the late slates, David. Can you throw us into that?
Are we talking about Miami at Chargers, which is going to be the most electric matchup of the whole weekend?
Yeah. This is the best matchup for sure. You scored on this.
I got nothing to say other than this is going to take the over if you're betting. I'm not betting podcast-wise on this game, but I will be betting the over in all facets of my apps.
So give me Miami +3. I think that this is too much. LA hasn't. Again, until proven otherwise, the Chargers are still the same Chargers that we all know, right? Last time we saw him giving up, 27, 30, 31
27-0.
It's bad. Give me Miami +3. Vic Fangio being there in that defense it's gonna be night and day, man. It's just right up there with Jim Schwartz and what he's gonna do with the Browns. I don't care that Jalen Ramsey isn't playing. People seem to forget that Xavier Howard is a Pro Bowl level type cornerback. That he got burned a little bit last year. If that's defensive schematically, that maybe he wasn't set up perfectly. Vic Fangio is gonna make sure he's set up. They have studs at every single line of the defense. I am so high, but at the same time, the Chargers have a really good defense. But can they? This is the one game they can stay healthy and actually play. So I don't know if the over is the play, but this is my fifth and final bet of the week. Miami +3 going to LA. Tua, Tyreek. Tyreek's not going to score a fumble recovery touchdown again like he did last year, but they're going to ball.
If I had 6 bets, I would have bet the over as my 6 because this is week 1, not week 10. I agree with the schematic stuff because the last time they did go to LA, they got their ass worked. But the only problem is that you give Mike McDaniel this much time to prepare. I really do think that you're going to see both offenses look good in this game, as crisp as you can in week 1. So I'm taking them to win in Miami West Coast version. It's back on that. It's football season, SoFi. Not their team. Also, shout out again, Jason McCarthy, you're the man. You're Miami Dolphins. We're gonna say you get it done.
Oh, that's right. He's a big Fins guy. He grew up on Danny Marino. If that name rings a bell.
Yes, he did. Full circle again. Sunday Night Football. We've been waiting all day for Sunday night.
No, we haven't.
The Cowboys 3.5 point road favorites at New York against the Giants. Totals 46.5. This is going to be a monster year for Micah Parsons, isn't it? I think we can all feel that already. It feels like this is going, and that might actually catapult this team to another realm. They could be in that San Francisco, Philadelphia realm if they get there. And then you also get a healthy Michael Gallup and Brandon Cooks coming in to help out CeeDee Lamb, Dak in the pass game.
The wings are here, babe.
I'm excited for this team.
If you want to grab them real quick.
You're not on mute, actually. You haven't been on mute for a while.
I love that. I love that this tells me that I'm muted, and yet I'm not. So that's really sick.
Is it Darren Waller time in New Jersey? If they win this game, you better believe it is. Because even though Barkley's back on his 1 year, like $11 million deal, and Daniel Jones is back on his like $300 million per year deal, this is going to be a team that needs Brian Daboll to make a huge impact yet again. I don't know if they are. This feels like the Vikings of the NFC East. I'm going with the Cowboys to win this game, not betting it, but that's at least my thoughts.
Same. You just took everything right out of my mouth. I'm with you on everything. Cowboys win.
I'll take the points. Fuck it. Like, I know I'm completely contradicting myself here when I'm taking divisional matchups when it's at 3.5 here, but I don't know how I feel about the Giants. Like, yeah, they added youth, right? I don't really know how much better they're going to be from last year, right? Because Daniel Jones is still there. Obviously, they're going to give a lot of touches here to Saquon, but to your point, Micah Parsons is a freak. Dan Quinn is just, they're going to be so good. You added Stephon Gilmore to what you're going to have Trey Diggs, where you can play that real role of what he already does is interception or touchdown thrown on him. Give me Dallas money line. I take the points on this.
I love that Wally's on mute after telling you
the
were
irony.
This is perfect for everyone involved.
Oh God! All right, I got to just fight through this right now.
Yeah, you do.
Monday Night Football. The Buffalo Bills are 2.5-point favorites at the New York Jets. Totals 46.5. We all know the deal going into this game. I'm going to try not to overreact. I know I'm going to overreact. Shout out to the NFL, though, for actually giving us Thursday Night Football and Monday Night Football. We get to be jazzed about Week 1. I can't remember the last time that happens. I'm taking the Bills by a field goal. It's an awesome way to wrap up Week 1. Again, trying not to overreact to this game. Really trying.
Fuck that. Bills by 1 million, and Aaron Rodgers sucks.
Aaron doesn't suck. We all know that here. This is the most loaded offense he's had since probably the young start of his career when he had, Jordy, Donald Driver, Greg Jennings, Jermichael Finley.
Yeah. That was like 8 years ago.
No, it actually wasn't. It was like 14 years ago. When they won the Super Bowl in 2011.
We got to go all the way back to that for us to acknowledge he had an offense? He had an offense as late as like 2017.
Cool. So,
it's loaded.
Arguably,
since Devontae Adams left, he had an offense that's loaded.
Who else was on that Devontae team?
All the same players he had since 2015 plus Garrett Wilson and a running back.
You're literally arguing to a guy who spent his entire life watching. Randall Cobb wasn't on the team for fucking 3 years. Alan Lazard came in like 3 years ago. Who else do we have? Adrian Amos, who was a free agent that was on the defensive side of the ball that signed also 4 years ago. Like, get the fuck out of here. No, this is the most loaded offense he's had since his young career. 2017. Who else was on that team with Devontae? Tell me wide receivers.
I'd argue that Aaron Jones, Devontae Adams team is as loaded as this Jets offense.
Are you fucking high? Dalvin Cook and Breece Hall, that's two players.
Wally's been out on Dalvin Cook and high on Breece Hall. It might as well be the fucking Aaron Jones and what's-his-face tandem. I mean,
that's
AJ
wild.
Dillon.
The AJs. That's a wild fucking take. This is clearly the most loaded, no. The wide receiver room.
Look, whatever excuse we got to give to Aaron Rodgers, if this is the most loaded team ever and Aaron Rodgers fails with it, then it's time to just admit he sucks. All around, as a human being and as now a football player.
He has more MVPs than you had playoff wins in your entire life. Let that sink in, Bob. Just don't. Nah, that's my guy. You can't be doing that.
So we're both at how many? Like, I'm at 0. He's at what, 1?
4 MVPs. Yes, you're right. You obviously fucking watch football. Give me the Giants money line if I'm taking on this. Opening, MetLife, place is going to be fucking booming. And then Josh Allen, they like to underperform a little bit here. They're gonna shrink here. Jets are gonna get into an early divisional race here. Jets money line, bro. They're gonna ball.
Buffalo by $1 million.
$1 million? That's a stretch.
$1 million.
Buffalo by a score. I could agree with you. $1 million, you're fucking high.
It's prop lock and drop it time. For
it.
better or worse.
This is what I'm here for.
It is
better or worse. This is the best part.
And it is your favorite part, Steven. So you get to start for us. What is your prop of the week? What is your lock of the week? And what is your drop of the week?
Prop. I'm going to do a little bit of a parlay, which, David, I'm kind of upset I don't see as a ridiculous parlay here they usually have. But it's only week 1, so time will tell. Aaron Jones, anytime touchdown scorer, paired up with Justin Fields, anytime touchdown scorer. Right now, at least on DraftKings, you can get that at plus 475. Green Bay has notoriously over the last decade, they couldn't stop a nosebleed in the run game. I expect that to really be the same because Joe Barry's a fucking joke. Aaron Jones, I expect him to get a lot of touches. We've been talking about it all offseason. My lock, Tampa Bay plus 6 against the Minnesota Vikings. Baker is coming, at least to cover the spread. And then my drop of the week, I know I was confident about pitching Mike Vrabel and how he's going to have his Titans start the year. Tennessee versus New Orleans. That's a game I don't want to worry about monetarily speaking. I want to sit back and enjoy to see what Derek Carr's looking like and what the new 3 for Tennessee is looking like.
David, prop, lock, and drop. What do you got?
All right, so a couple prop bets, right? One is actually for this week, which is Jahmyr Gibbs over 25.5 receiving yards. Chiefs allowed the most receptions. It's either most receptions and 4th most yards or 4th most receptions and most yards to running backs last year. And Jahmyr Gibbs, Offensive Rookie of the Year, bet on it now, plus 1,000. Josh Allen, MVP, plus 850. He's in the Super Bowl, according to my predictions, so you might as well pepper that in if I'm following suit. My lock is the Niners at 2.5-point favorites in money line. If Wally's going to tell you that's a drop for this week, spoiler alert, if he was so fucking high on the Niners being a 15-2 team, he shouldn't be so soft on this game.
Get him.
My drop is either Tampa Bay at Minnesota or Arizona at Washington, preferably both. Ugly-ass football, I'm not in for it.
I am dropping San Francisco and Pittsburgh. I think that Pittsburgh could be one of the few teams in the league that could beat this team, especially with a healthy TJ Watt. So, especially with the bad weather, which unfortunately is news to me, as my prop was George Pickens 2 touchdowns, and that was plus 1,800. I figured get a little bang for your buck to start the year.
Yeah, lose money to start the year. Why not?
Hey, reception and rushing touchdown. Maybe you get to reception early, then the rain starts coming down. It's okay. Let's get an end around to Georgie.
Put 32 teams in your Super Bowl pick and put your $7 on George Pickens 2 touchdowns, and then you'll feel good about yourself. Parlay it with Houston plus 10, because Houston plus 10 is the lock of the week. D'Amico Ryans is going to have the boys playing really hard. You're going to see a close game, and I think a little bit of growing pains with Todd Monken in the Baltimore offense in general. So that's mine.
I love it. Boys, that will bring us to an end of another episode of Loss of Down. Make sure to subscribe to us on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube at Loss of Down, and retweet us on Twitter, _loss. Remember, this episode is brought to you by Abby Turner Creative. Also, boys and girls, don't you forget that we're officially a part of the
Bruiser Nation.
Here we go. We're officially a part of the Bruiser Nation podcast network. Remember, it's a division of the Snapmere Productions. Check everyone out. Check us out. Boys, do you have any parting words for the fans? Except football is fucking back.
Fuck Aaron Rodgers and get me the fuck off this podcast. I'm hungry.
I got wings sitting, baby.
One pride, and then again, thank you to Bruiser Nation Podcast. We're looking very much to being a part of this network. And happy birthday, Jason, you're the man. And good luck to all you Lions fans. I hope when you're listening to this, it's because you're listening happily on Friday morning and not the opposite. Love you guys.
Love you.